Hi, everybody. This is Jenny Lescohier with CONEXPO-CON AGG 365. I'm here with Riley Simpson, and we are about to do a rundown of our top 10 stories from the month of September. This is just a ranking on the pieces of content that we created that garnered the most interest, and we're just here to give you a little bit of additional insight to each of those stories in the hopes that you'll find that informative and entertaining. So with that, the number one item on our list was an article called Metallica Carhartt Team Up for Skilled Trade Worker Recruitment. And what's cool about this is these are a couple of names that we all recognize. Carhartt, obviously the American apparel company that we all know and love, and Metallica, a veteran heavy metal band that, we all know their songs and we've all loved them for decades. So the two got together to actually create an ad that, with the intention of getting some help for the national labor shortage that we're all kind of, in the middle of right now. So Riley, can you give us a little bit more of a synopsis of that?
Yeah, definitely, Jenny. So it was centered around Labor Day, early in September, on September 6th. Carhartt donated all their online sales on Labor Day to All Within My Hands, which is Metallica's initiative. It's their foundation dedicated to providing skills and services to students of all ages looking to enter traditional trade or other applied learning programs. So Metallica and Carhartt actually developed this ad. It's actually reference to the formation of Metallica, the band itself. Back in 1981, Lars Ulrich, drummer for Metallica, took out a Musicians Wanted classified ad in a LA newspaper. And 4 decades later, pretty happy ending to that story. So, the ad is like kind of like a "We Want You, Uncle Sam" kind of campaign, and hopefully it gets people some really good jobs, and hopefully it gets some really good some really good traction as well.
Great. It's a good job for both of those companies. We're
Mhm.
happy about that. What's number two on the list, Riley?
Number two is the new Komatsu small size excavator. It came out in the about middle of September, and it is the new Tight Tail PC78 US-11. And it joins Komatsu's family of 6 small utility size excavators, replaces the PC78 US-10 model. And Jenny, you actually wrote this one, and you went a little bit more in depth than a normal product release. You got to talk to a Komatsu product manager. What did he tell you about this new excavator? And what are some of the new features they're trying to incorporate?
Well, I mean, the thing that I think we're seeing across the board with earth moving equipment is, the trends being fuel efficiency with ease of use. The goal is really to be able to do more with less and in less time. So it was just interesting to see that play out here with this model. It's just a trend that once again echoes the problems that we're facing in construction, which we have a shortage of skilled labor. So anything that equipment makers can do to make the machines easier to jump on and use, that helps. So that was part of the intention behind that model. And yeah, so kudos to Komatsu for that.
Definitely.
Which brings us, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did
No,
you have anything else to
oh
say
no,
about
I was gonna set you up.
that? So yeah, so number three on our list is actually a video that we kind of stumbled upon from YouTube. It's from the Mega Machines channel, where, as you can imagine, they show a lot of big machines doing pretty cool stuff. So in this case, it was a Caterpillar 385C excavator filling up a dump truck in 2 bucketfuls, which is pretty awesome to witness when you look at it. It is like no time at all. So obviously jobs get done quickly under those conditions. The 385C is no longer in production. It was replaced by the 390DL. I think that was about 10 years ago, but still lots of them out there. And as it is, Caterpillar is certainly not, dialing it back on the capabilities of its machinery. So I'm sure we can look forward to more videos like that coming in the future. But in the meantime, it's just kind of fun to watch. So what do you have for number
Yeah,
four,
just
Riley?
awesome power with that cat excavator, and other powerful machines include wheel loaders. That brings us to our number 4 article on our list. It's our wheel loaders feature. We were able to talk to product managers from Doosan Infracore North America, John Deere, and they told us about some of their newest models and kind of the trends that are happening in the wheel loader space. They're looking for increased efficiency and productivity. Experimenting and implementing hybrid electric transmission systems, and really trying to make things more efficient, like you were saying, Jenny, with issues that the construction industry is going through, making things as efficient and as productive as possible is just really the way to go. And as always, these big manufacturers are always trying to up the safety standards and the comfort for operators in their machines. So if you want to find out what's been going on with wheel loaders, and also a little bit about what's coming down the pike with those machines, check out our feature on wheel loaders.
Yep. Yeah, wheel loaders are definitely one of those pieces of machinery that we can all relate to and that we've all seen on job sites,
Mhm.
forever. On the other side of the coin would be our number 5 entry, which is the new fat truck practically walks on water to transport materials. And this is referring to the fat truck pickup model 2.8P. And it's from Zeal Motor Incorporated, and it's basically a UTV on steroids. So it's kind of, I don't know, when you look at it, it's an unusual looking machine with giant tires that kind of look like they've got paddles on them, if you will. So and that's because this is an amphibious machine. It was built to work on all sorts of delicate terrain that's wet, muddy. It just sort of floats across that, if you will. So it's unique in that regard, and it has a 2,200-pound payload capacity. It can go up to 25 miles per hour on land and 3 miles per hour on water. So it's something to behold.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's the fat truck for you.
Yeah, and fat truck is just something that's just so fun to say out loud. It's just two words that are meant to be together. Fat truck. That's great. Um, so number 6 is our top 5 infrastructure projects going on in the U.S. right now, and this has been a summer and going into a fall that's all about infrastructure in this country. As we record this, the U.S. Legislature is voting on the Biden infrastructure bill. So, fingers crossed on that it comes through for the construction industry. But for the time being, we featured 5 pretty big transportation infrastructure projects, such as the California High-Speed Rail, which has been averaging 1,100 construction workers a day at 35 construction sites across the state of California. Crazy big project there. Also, in my hometown, Chicago, we have the red and purple line modernization. The Chicago Transit Authority is finally upgrading the lifeblood. They're the 2 really main L train lines that go from the north to the south. So uh, yeah, pretty big for the Windy City there. We also have 3 other construction projects from Las Vegas, Seattle, New York. So check those out. See what's getting built. See what's getting built all around the U.S.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. That's really
Hmm.
exciting. Um, well, to build stuff like that, you often need to grade the land that you're working on. And along those lines, the number 7 item on our list is Case's new attachment turns compact track loaders into grading solutions. And in this case, um, it's pretty cool because it meets the need for precise and complete grading, but it's on it. It can be used on a large frame compact track loader instead of requiring the extensive investment that a dedicated motor grader would require. So thanks to Case for that. We have a video that kind of shows it in action. And yeah, so that was number 7 on our list. What do you have for number
Nice.
8, Kelly?
Yeah, number 8 is a story you wrote, Jenny. It's about it's a weird one. It's about the utopian city known as Telosa. So it doesn't exist yet. Recently retired Walmart executive Mark Lohr has unveiled his plans for a $400 billion city that's hopefully going to be constructed in a yet to be determined location in the American desert. Apparently, Lohr is looking at Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, Texas as possible locations. And the first phase of construction of Telosa is going to accommodate 50,000 residents in the city across 1,500 acres. And they're targeting 2030 for that. And that first phase of construction is going to cost uh, a measly amount of $25 billion. So this is such a strange thing. Jenny, you wrote about this. What do you think of Utopian City in America?
I'd sure be happy to visit it once it's constructed. But in the meantime, I'm just really curious to see, first of all, where it will be ultimately located, and I'm also excited to see some of the technologies that are going to be put into play, not just in the construction, because that is one of the goals. My understanding is to use some of the latest advancements in construction technology, but
Mhm.
also. One of the goals of the city is to be 100% sustainable. So even though they're talking about building a giant city in the middle of the desert, they're actually trying to do it in a way that it would be 100%, self-contained. So I'm just baffled by that. I can't wait to see how they're going to figure out, how to replenish resources like water and so forth. But it's an admirable goal for sure. So
Mhm.
we'll
For
have to
sure.
stay tuned. Yep,
So we got number 9 coming up.
yep. So number 9 is 4 U.S. tower crane companies that make the world's top 25. In this case, we sort of took an annual ranking by our sister publication, International Cranes and Specialized Transport, which utilizes their own tower index to sort of rank crane companies on how much capacity they have in their fleet, essentially. The tower index is calculated using the combined total maximum load moment rating in ton meters of all the tower cranes in a company's fleet. So this annual ranking has 25 firms in it. Of that listing, 4 are US based companies. So it kind of sheds some light on the global aspect of that industry. So the US, though, those top players were Morrow Equipment. They're based out of Salem, Oregon.
Mhm.
Maxim Crane Works, Biggie Crane and Rigging, and the All family of companies. So if you're curious about, how much crane capacity those 4 companies have, don't miss this story because it's kind of interesting. It's massive, really.
Yeah, I never
So
never realized how big, or well, I know cranes are big, but how figuratively big cranes are around the world. Just how big that subsector is. It's
exactly.
wild.
Right. Right.
So bringing us to conclusion, our 10th most popular story from September, and I'm sure nobody missed this one when it was announced. It was President Biden announcing his path out of the pandemic plan, which included uh, tasking the Department of Labor and OSHA with requiring all employees with 100 or more, sorry, all employers with 100 or more employees to mandate vaccines against COVID-19 or require unvaccinated workers to produce weekly negative tests. So OSHA is using an emergency temporary standard to implement this requirement, and the White House said that this temporary standard is going to affect approximately 80 million workers in the private sector business. So this is a big deal. When this was announced, the U.S. had just surpassed 60% of population receiving at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. It's higher now at the end of the month. And when he announced it, Biden said that his message to unvaccinated Americans was, what more is there to wait for? What more do they need to see? We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and their refusal to get the vaccine has cost us all. So yeah, COVID is obviously still ravaging the entire world, including the U.S. And this vaccine mandate is, hopefully going to get cases under control. We actually did talk to an attorney, a labor attorney out of Denver named Iris Halpern. She's actually been featured in some of our stories at ConExpo, ConAg 365 over the years, or over the year. Back in January, she actually predicted Biden using this OSHA temporary standard, and she said it's all this requirement is all about setting up best practices. And she mentioned that contractors and employers are opening themselves up to liability if one of their employees does get sick or hurt on their site. So, making sure that employees have access to PPE, masks, that you guys practice social distancing, other precautions against the spread of COVID, along with this vaccine mandate, and hopefully we'll be out of the woods sooner than later.
Right. And the other thing to think about is with the infrastructure bill, if it does in fact get passed, there's a lot of jobs out there on the table. And if you want to work for the government, you're going to basically, this is a requirement. So, you
Mhm.
know, there's work to be had. So there's just that perspective to keep in mind as well. So,
I that's yeah, very very valid.
right. Well, thank you, everybody. That does it for our top 10 list for September. Stay tuned for a similar listing at the end of October. We'll see what's happening in the world of construction at that time. Thanks,
All right.
Riley. Thanks,
Take
everybody.
care. Thank you so much.